may be seated. Oh, my soul is already full from that time of worship. The heavens are telling the earth how great you are. Sometimes we don't really notice. Creation itself tells us how great he is. Thank you for joining. Thank you for any of our guests that are here today. I welcome you. I welcome anyone who's watching online. We are just in a brand new series, and I'm excited to share this message with you. What do you think was going through Zecharias' mind that morning as he made his way to the temple in Jerusalem? Perhaps he thought this: okay, I'm going again. I'm serving again. It's my turn to serve. Maybe it shouldn't feel this way, but it does. Feels kind of mundane. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, serving in the priesthood, fulfilling my course in the priesthood, faithful for a long time. And yet, when I look around, I don't see God working. I don't see the miracles in our history. Where is he? In fact, I have a great need in my own life, and it would only take a miracle. A miracle. But I'm going. I'm going to serve. I'm going to be faithful because I believe it matters. So this second message in our vision series, I'm excited to share with you. Last week was the very first message of 2025. We unveiled this word, the vision, forward, and the message was to go forward in faith. How many of you were here last Sunday? Forward in faith. Today's message is very similar, but quite different. The title of today's message is to go forward in faithfulness. It's different, and we're going to explore that today. So again, I'm not sure if Zacharias felt that way, but I know I have. And I think probably some of you have. Sometimes faithfulness feels mundane, if we're honest. Sometimes we feel tired. Sometimes we wonder if it matters. Sometimes we wonder if he sees, if he notices the faithfulness. Notices what we're doing, our serving, our giving, getting up a few minutes early to spend with him. But anyone else raise your hand that sometimes it feels mundane? Okay, good. Good. And we ask, I've asked this, where are the miracles? Now, we see the prayer requests and the praise reports, and again, like, thankful. But where are the things that will take my breath away, right? like those kind of miracles. We may say, I'm just not seeing them. So this message is to encourage you that if you will stay faithful, the miracle is coming. Say that with me. Stay faithful, the miracle is coming. Okay, January 1st of this year, my morning was no different than any other morning. I had no New Year's resolutions. None. Zero. Done. Not doing that again. But I had one new thing. I had a new Bible. Ooh. If you want to see it later. I love this Bible. So I had a new Bible and a new plan, and I am going to read the Bible through this year again. Some years I don't, but this year I'm going to. The first story I opened up to was the story I'm going to share with you today. It's the very first story in the New Testament. The very first story I begin to read, and God begins to speak. Now you know that this is the Logos, the written word, but there's also something called the Rhema, and that's when the Spirit begins to speak, and both happened that morning. I read, and God began to speak. I journaled it. I shared it with my husband, and he said, I want you to share that with the church. I didn't want to. So we kind of it was kind of out there. Not a hard set no, but it was kind of floated out there, and it was just kind of. So Monday of this week, I'm listening to last week's message because I was teaching Sunday school, so I didn't hear it. So I'm listening to the message, and I start to see these similarities between that message and what God had spoken to me about God's people coming out of Egypt, hemmed in, Pharaoh, the Red Sea. This very first story in the New Testament, here were the similarities. 400 years. Captivity, silence. Desperate prayers. Promises made, prophecies given, and a period of transition. That in between. The mundane, slavery, and the miraculous. And there were so many similarities, but there was one notable difference to me. Now, for the children of Israel, if you haven't listened to last week's message, go back and listen to that message. But think about the children of Israel looking at the Red Sea. Now, I'm going to tell you what. I don't know what all the emotions were in the room or in the space, but everything from probably excitement to fear to anticipation, but it was a roller coaster of emotions. All right? The difference about the story that I'm going to tell you today, it's mundane because faithfulness often feels mundane. For Zecharias and Elizabeth, they had to just keep moving forward in faithfulness. Let's read it. Luke chapter 1, beginning at verse 5. Now again, put yourself in the story. Don't just look at them and read about them, but kind of imagine what it was like. 400 years that they've heard from God. There was in the days of Herod, the king of Judea, a certain priest named Zecharias of the division of Abijah. That's important because this is his priestly division. His wife was of the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. Now, I want you to look at these words. This is the very first story in the New Testament, and it's the story from which is going to be an amazing miracle. But look at the words that describe these two people upon whom that first miracle is going to happen. They were both righteous before God, walking in all the commandments and ordinances, that's laws, regulations of the Lord, blameless. That's what faithfulness looks like. It's showing up. It's serving. It's obeying his word. It's like knowing what's important to him. It's obeying his word, and it's a walk. It's just walk. They walked one step in front of the other. It's not cutting corners. It's not thinking, that doesn't matter. Now, let me show you something that is so cool, because I've just told you that when the Old Testament ends, last word from God to his people is in the book of Malachi. He's the last prophet. He speaks, and then history tells us that there is nothing spoken for 400 years. But let's look at what Malachi wrote in the very last chapter of his book. Remember, this is Malachi 4:4. Remember to obey the law of Moses, my servant. All, everyone say all. All the decrees and regulations that I gave him on Mount Sinai for all Israel. 400 years later, this couple is still doing that. They're being faithful. But here's the thing. They are about to see the miraculous. What is their great need, you may ask? What is the thing that would take a miracle? Let's look at verse 7. But they had no child. That was important in those days, to have children. Elizabeth would later say, I felt reproach because Elizabeth was barren. And here's the need of the miracle. They're both well advanced in years. It's impossible. How about you? What is the miracle that you need? I want you to think about that for a minute. Think about what you need. What is that? Is it healing? Reconciliation with someone? Financial? You got one in your mind? Do you need a miracle? If you don't need a miracle, oh my goodness, you're not thinking very big. So get that miracle that you need, and by miracle I mean like impossible in your own doing. The greatest miracle, if you haven't had this one, the greatest miracle is salvation. That we are separated from God. and by the work on the cross, we have the opportunity to be made right. It's a gift, and it's a miracle. Okay, let's move on. Zacharias and Elizabeth need a miracle. Verse 8. So it was. Now, this is just like it's just joining some things, but I'm telling you what's going to happen in the next few moments is miraculous. So it was that while he was serving as priest before God. Now, I want you to look at all the words in these verses because they sound really boring. So take note of all the words that sound quite boring in this next passage. In the order of his division, according to the custom of the priesthood, his lot fell to burn incense when he went into the temple of the Lord. And the whole multitude of the people was praying outside at the hour of incense. So actually what you're seeing here, right here, is like tradition, duty, order, customs. This goes back hundreds of years. When the first temple was built, the priesthood was divided into orders, and their orders determined what they did and how they served. But on this day, his lot fell, like roll of the dice. The lot fell upon Zacharias to burn at the altar of incense, which happened morning and evening, every day. Everybody say every day. Say they'd been doing this for a long time. So, here goes Zacharias. He goes into the temple to offer incense on the altar of incense, the special mixture. And he goes in, and now look what happens. Verse 11. Then an angel of the Lord appeared to him. Let that click, because we know it happens, so we're like, an angel. 400 years, remember, and remember Zacharias has done this most of his adult life, and this time, an angel of the Lord appears, standing on the right side of the altar of incense. And when Zacharias saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell on him, well, rightly so. But the angel said to him, don't be afraid, Zacharias. Take note of these next few words. For your prayer is heard. And your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you shall call his name John. And what will happen? You're going to have joy and gladness, and many, not only are you going to be happy, but many are going to rejoice at his birth. This moment, when Zacharias is just serving faithfully, this moment, the mundane meets the miraculous. The mundane meets the miraculous. And when I say miraculous, okay, this is just the beginning. This is the first story. But what happens now is this domino of the miraculous. And it's Mary, and it's a virgin having a baby, and he's the Messiah. And angels see a heavenly host, and Simeon holds the baby, and Anna prophesies, and all these things. And pretty soon it's a light to the Gentiles, and the Jews are pointed back to their God, and miracles and signs and healings and wonders. This is just the beginning of the miraculous. So the moment when the mundane meets the miraculous is all about his timing. It's all about his timing. Stay faithful. The miracle is coming. This miracle baby, who will be called John, is John the Baptist. Let's read in Luke 1:16 and 17 what the angel tells Zecharias. Their son, this baby, this miraculous baby, will turn many Israelites to the Lord their God. I'll stop here a minute. Your miracle has a purpose. The miraculous has a purpose. This miraculous baby, he will turn them to the Lord their God, and he will be a man with the spirit and power of Elijah. He will prepare the people for the coming of the Lord. Who do we mean by that? Who is he preparing the way for? He's coming right in front of Jesus, preparing their hearts, turning the hearts of the fathers to their children. This was prophesied also in the last chapter of Malachi. And he will cause those who are rebellious to accept the wisdom of the godly. This miracle has a purpose. Your miracle has a purpose. Do you know when the children of Israel walked through the Red Sea? Like they could have, why? Why the Red Sea? Why be hemmed in? Why go through that? Because you know what? When they go into Canaan, the first city they encounter is Jericho. And guess what the residents of Jericho say? We've heard about you. You're the people whose God opened the Red Sea. That's the purpose of the miraculous. It's to point people to him. The miraculous has a purpose. Your miraculous has a purpose, and the waiting and the timing is really about God getting some amazing glory and people taking notice and seeing who your God is. So stay faithful. The miracle is coming. Stay faithful in prayer. Gabriel said to Zacharias, your prayer is heard. James, the brother of Jesus, said, the prayer of a righteous man, what? It avails much. It's powerful. God is attracted to faithfulness. He's attracted to it. You know why? Because he's faithful. That's one of his most powerful attributes. So he's attracted to faithfulness. Zacharias and Elizabeth, what was he attracted to? Their faithfulness. His rewards come with these words, well done, good and faithful servant. Paul said, don't get weary doing good. In due season, That's God's timing. In due season, you'll reap if you don't lose heart. So, if you thought it doesn't matter, it does. If you've thought he doesn't take notice, he does. And today, as I wind down this message, move forward in faithfulness. It doesn't look like the Red Sea parting, doesn't feel like the Red Sea parting, but there's a moment when the mundane meets the miraculous. And so on that January 1st this year, I wrote in my journal, and I felt it so strong. I felt like God was saying it to me, but he was saying it to you. Just stay faithful. Continue to honor this word. Obey it. Know it. And continue to pray, believing. Because, and I wrote this, I believe 2025 is a year of prayers answered and miracles for his church. I believe it. So just trust his timing. I invite you to stand with me. For Zecharias and Elizabeth, it happened. The miracle happened. Elizabeth, well advanced in years, got pregnant. The same angel, Gabriel, who stood at the right side of the altar of incense, he's the same one that goes to visit Mary. And when he's telling Mary about what's getting ready to happen in her life, that's also a miracle. Not possible without God. And so, when he's telling her about it, I want to get to this verse. When Gabriel's telling her about it, he actually refers to Elizabeth's miracle. Because here's what I want you to know, that your miracle inspires faith. And then another miracle, and another miracle. And a community takes notice that God's doing something there. And it's not about any of us. What's it about? Their hearts are going to be turned toward the Lord their God. That's why. And so Gabriel says to Mary, she's just, this is way out there, she's thinking. He says, now indeed, Elizabeth, your relative, she's also conceived a son in her old age. And this is now the 6th month for her, who was called what? Called barren. Look at these next words. For with God, is anything impossible with God? That miracle that you thought of earlier in this message? With God, nothing is impossible. Will you join me and close your eyes? Because we're going to take a minute and reflect and respond. And in a minute, I'm going to ask you to speak, to pray, to thank, because there's something about your words that are going to touch the heart of God. But I want you to think about that thing. I've got it in my mind, the miracle. I actually know many of the miracles you desire. But I want you to picture the joy, what it would feel like when that miracle happens. The joy that you would feel. And it may not happen like you think, but picture it, believe it. And now together, let's thank him. Let's speak thanks. Let's speak faith. Let's speak anticipation. Will you do that with me? Lord, in this room, we believe. We see it. I know what I see. I see it and I can't imagine the joy. I can't imagine what it might take, but Lord, there is nothing. Say that with me. There's nothing impossible for you, God. And I know that this miracle is all about you, because it will point the hearts of people to an amazing God. That's the purpose. Take a minute more and thank him. Tell him you believe. Tell him you believe. I believe. I still believe. And if I've let go of faithfulness, I'm picking it back up. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be there. I'm going to walk. Now let's just, in your own way, let's just thank him. Join me and sing this song, I believe. I believe.
You are who you say you are. You'll do what you said you'll do.
Amen, amen, amen.
You'll come through.